whether it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. I said I'd come on a small bit early because cats are eating dogs, their children are upside down. I don't know what to think at the moment. Don't know what to think. Pretty frying day, Aston Villa wise. But I wanted to jump on earlier because I might need to jump off a small bit later or a small bit earlier from this podcast than I normally do. And plus, I kind of wanted to be on before the team sheet was announced because I realized I sent this out for 5:45, and I think that's when the team sheet is usually announced. So yeah, we'll get this one on the road. Peter M here early with Bizak, Cash, Konza, Mings, Matson, Tielemans, McGinn, Malin, Rogers, Gassan, and Watkins. Are we riot? That's what I think that's the biggest piece for me, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. You will probably see the disappointment in my face if we don't have Malin starting and we don't have Gassan. Well, maybe not so much Gassan, but like if he went with Rogers on the left, Buendia and Malin, I think I'd be okay with it. But I want a small bit of dynamism. I want a small bit of pace. I want a small bit of maverick tendency in here tonight. And I think the best way to do that is to throw something at Palace that they've never seen before. And I don't mean a three at the back. I mean, go with essentially the tried and tested. I know Peter there. I had Matson in at left back. I'm okay with either left back going in there. Like I'm on record as saying that Ian Matson's defensive positioning is like it's really poor. But he has incredible recovery pace, and he's incredible pace to get up and down the wing. And without Eze being there, maybe you do go up Matson to try and pin back whoever's there. But that Devaney's a good player if he's the guy who's going to be in there. And obviously you've got Ismail Assar, who just, the goals are like 14 or an extra 14 foot wide at either side when he plays against Aston Villa. He just can't stop scoring against us. So, do we put in Digne there? If we have Gassan out on that left-hand side, I would imagine we put in Digne there. Two people speaking French up and down that line may not count for anything, but may also count for having Digne in his ear, in Gassan's ear, new to the Premier League, first start. That might be something I think I think we might see. I got a notification there, but it wasn't anything to do with the team sheet being announced yet. And Peter, obviously, yes, Peter says here that that's solely to play against Sarr as well. Is it Green Binde says, love the hat, Neil. Here was a bit all over the place. That's what I went. And this is a Cleveland Browns hat. So I don't know, it's a bad juju because as we know, Cleveland Browns are one of the worst run. So like Cleveland Browns are historically probably one of the worst run sporting organizations in the history of sports. So that's probably why whenever I go to talk about Aston Villa, my glass is half full because I've seen some terrible stuff as a Cleveland Browns fan since 2000, late 2005. So yeah, nearly 20 years a Browns fan. So I've seen some horrendous stuff. So anything Villa throw at me is just is a cakewalk, I think, at this stage. But I think we have a team sheet has been announced. Well, it popped up on my phone anyway that it was, but why isn't it popping up here on my computer? Yes, we have a team sheet here. Sorry for the low energy. Yes. Well, looks like, Peter, that you knew what you're talking about, and Emi Martinez is not starting, guys. So we can draw any inference from that we wish. I think it just like I wasn't expecting him to start, but here is the team, and we will discuss it accordingly. But the main man on the front of that screen is Evan Gassan. So we've got Marco Bizot in goals. We have Cash, Konza, Mings, Matson, McGinn, Tielemans, Malin, Gassan, Rogers, and Watkins. I like that attacking lineup. I like the lineup of the squad. I think just as I'm going to say a small piece on Emi Martinez, and I'm not going to talk about it more for the rest of this podcast, but Emi Martinez, I know for a fact, said to two people today that he was starting, he was playing tonight. This is as good an indication that Mr. Martinez is not in the squad tonight because he is off. It's fine. See you. Enjoy yourself in Manchester. We'll talk more about him. If he does leave, if he stays, I will back him as being Aston Villa's goalkeeper. If he goes, well, then we will have that conversation. We can talk as freely as we want about him then. Our subs bench, Sam Proctor is our sub goalkeeper. Luca Dean, Emi Buendia, Pau Torres, Lamar Bogart, Tristan Rowe, Jamal Dean, Jimo Loba, Bradley Burrows, and Travis Patterson. And for people who think that we won't get players in, we will get players. Like, you just look at that bench is pretty, that's a pretty threadbare bench. I know we're missing Boubacar Kamara and Onana, who will come in there, but though, like, going as far as Bradley Burrows and Travis Patterson, who have got great futures in this game, for me, that's that is worryingly light. So, from a transfer point of view, we'll keep the transfers out of this. We'll talk about those at a later date, should I say. But the first team 11, I think that's the first team 11 that you start. I think that is the one. So I said beforehand, it could be a team sheet tantrum if we didn't get that unpredictability in Mal and Gassan and Rogers behind Watkins. I think what we see there, I think I'm happy with what I see there. I'm happy with what I see there. It's what I wanted to see. Tell me in the comments as well, guys, what you guys feel, because I will be here on my own doing this on my own today, because I give Paddy the day off, because he's going to be subbing in for me for anything that happens when I'm off, just in case I can't get online. And also, look, Paddy's had a tough time for, he go away and watch Aston Villa and be with your mates and stuff like that, instead of sitting on here talking about this on a semi-depressing day. But yeah, let me know, guys, what you guys feel about it in the comments there. So, first of all, Whisper of the Heart says, looking forward to seeing this team. King Anu says that's an 11 there as well. That's a good looking team, says Maruka. Best team selection in months, says TKF. Chip says, come on, Villa, happy with that team. Palace should be wrecked after Europa Thursday night, and do not underestimate that as well, as I nearly take my microphone off its stand there. Do not underestimate that, and with that in mind, I will try and bring up the Crystal Palace team here. Oh jeez, I just had a Chinese delivered beforehand, because I'm in holiday mode, flying out on holidays tomorrow morning at 7:00, and I ate one of the bits of chicken, and there was a massive chili stuck to the side of it, and it's just right here. That's where the chili is. So there's still, every so often, there's a blast of heat comes back up my throat. So apologies for my my grunting and groaning. Crystal Palace have announced their team, and I will actually just call it out instead of putting it up on the screen, because it's one of those stupid clickable links. Henderson and goals, Munoz, Richards, Lacroix, Ngwe and Mitchell make up that back 3/back 5. You have Wharton and Hughes, so Will Hughes is fit to start. Ismail Assar and Kamada are playing behind Mateta. So it looks like they've put Kamada further forward, I think, which is more of his position. So that is something that Villa will need to, like I talked about, Villa having their out of the box selection. That Kamada is one for us to worry about as well. Their bench is made up of Walter Benitez, Lerma, Yermi Pino makes the bench. Actually, their new signing, a very, very good signing. A signing I would have been really happy with Villarreal, and they got him for peanuts as well, comparison to what he was being bandied about before he did his ACL, and he's come back from that showing no signs of rust. They have Nathaniel Klein. They have Eze, not Eze, there as well. They've got Souza, Borna Souza. They've got Rodney, Devaney, and Cardenas as well there on the bench. So they've got a couple of youthful players there as well on their bench. But they can go to the likes of Yermi Pina, Borna Sosa, Nathaniel Klein, Jefferson Lerma if they do need to do so from their bench. But they're not exactly stacked either on that bench with some injuries that they have, and obviously they will be doing business as well over the course of the next week. The interesting thing, or the next day, should I say, the interesting thing for them is the man that's under transfer offer for them is starting in Mark Way. Starting, and that to me shows potentially the difference between the two. Now, obviously, as well, I know. Listen, I'm not putting my goalkeeper on goals if somebody's made a bid for him and tried to turn his head. I'm not doing that at all because of the mental capabilities of that position. And look, we know the brain fart he had at the end of the season as well, which arguably has put us in financial mess. Albeit that he has done some great things for the club. But Mark Way is starting today. that would be a conversation amongst Liverpool fans. I think also the other side of it as well is they don't have anybody else that they could have put in for Mark Gray, so they had to start him in that back line too. But is his mind thinking of Liverpool? Is his mind thinking about what tomorrow holds for him? He's obviously a professional, and he's obviously done really well at Palace. I expect him to go out and to play as a professional today. But we're not the only team that's been vultured by the supposed elite teams in the league as well. Crystal Palace have had their fair share of that, and I think that they will be looking at us going, really, you're annoyed over Martinez, are you really? Considering what they've been picked off with. But obviously we've had other people picked off as well, and we don't need to go into the history of that. We know that, but my heart does go out to Palace as well from that point of view. The fact that they've been picked by the vultures too, from their respect, with respect to their team as well. They get into Europe and then they lose potentially Mark Gray, arguably their two most notable players. So the other teams in the league are having this happen to them, but it doesn't make it any easier for Aston Villa, and we can only worry about what we have in our back pocket as well. Where are we? I'm going to come down and look at some of the comments here as well. Where are we? Finally, some wet, says Owen McMahon as well. And Mark Wayne, I like that as well. Emmy missing can't take away that we have an attacking lineup out at last. I absolutely agree. I agree with that as well. The Trust says the fact that this is the squad nearly 24 hours before the end of the transfer window is real oversight on our part. Understand that we have a couple of injuries, but the bench is fronting light. I would argue as well, without getting into an argument with you, obviously, I'm just responding to the comment, that Crystal Palace are equally as light, and they're essentially in the same boat as us. There's a lot of Premier League teams that are in the same boat as us, looking to do business on the last day of the season. And the reason I bring up Crystal Palace is they too are in Europe. First time that they've been in Europe, I think, ever. So they're in this quandary as well. This is a 14-team issue. Well, yeah, probably a 14-team issue at the moment, whereby, once you get outside maybe the strength and depth in the first 15, 16 players, it tends to drop off. Hasn't always been the way for Aston Villa, and we hope that that's where the likes of the experience in Lindelof and those coming in to pad the squad in the interim. We can disagree or we can agree on that. But for Europa League assault, if you want to call it that as well, you prefer to have experience coming off the bench, specifically in the defensive areas. That's just my thoughts on it. I know other people will differ too on that as well. Where are we? Where else are we? Apologies, guys. I'm going to scroll past the Emmy stuff if you don't mind. I'm not in the mindset to talk about it at the moment. There's a whole podcast in that itself if it does happen. 4 attacking players in the pitch. Wow, says Marine Boy. Absolutely. And this is a good point as well, Paul O'Sullivan. Palace haven't beaten us in Villa Park in years. I don't know exactly what the statistic is on that, but we do tend to split the games via venue, as long as it's not in the cup. League wise, we do tend to split the games, so we do tend to perform a bit better as well. And remember as well, we're a calendar year undefeated in Villa Park. Like, I'm very, very confident. I'm feeling very good about this Aston Villa team and this game tonight, based on the team that's there, regardless of what's gone on. Like, Marco Bizzard has literally the world at his feet at the moment, and that seems strange for a 34-year-old, but he goes out today, he blocks pebbles, Villa win 2-0, and he makes some unbelievable saves. Well, then Marco Bizzard puts his hand up to be the successor to Emi Martinez. I know we would bring somebody in, but once you have the jersey, it's up to you to keep that jersey, regardless of who's behind you. And that's cliche, but it's the way of the world. He had a very good game against Newcastle, Marco Bizzard, especially when we went down to 10 men. And it's encouraging. I'm not saying that he is a world beater. I'm saying that he's a very competent goalkeeper, and we're going to see what a good, competent goalkeeper can do. See how competent he is, I suppose, against good opposition tonight within the Premier League. And more Premier League games for him will show us, his capability. But he's going to see this as opportunity. So you might have 11 people in the dressing room. They're going, "Oh, it's a bit of a bummer because of Emi Martinez being out, but we still want to go and win this game." Albeit I don't think Malen or I don't think Gassand will have that affinity to him. But you're going to have one man in the middle of the goals who's going to be going, this is my chance. This is my chance to show the world that whatever 2.5 million or 3 million that they signed me for is an absolute steal. And I'm going to go out here and block pebbles and make my name in the Premier League. And I hope that will be his mindset in his own mind, because he's a bloody good goalkeeper. And you know, I know we could be talking about this in 2 hours' time and going, Jesus Christ, Bizzat threw 2 balls into the back of his net. But look, in this, from all the available evidence, and without talking about hindsight, because obviously we don't have the luxury of that, we're an awful lot more confident with Bizzat and goals than we would be if it was Robin Olsen. And he said Marcus Olsen, which at times might have been just as good last year. So that's kind of my view on it. I think my view on it. Sir Unai Emery, thank you so much for that. It says subs bench looks weak. Absolutely, I've been through that already. And I think Palace's subs bench looks weaker, or as weak, should I say, if that is the case. So thankfully, we didn't play on Thursday. We didn't have to play on Thursday night. Or are we? A lot of people saying that it's our best starting 11, says Gary Howlett. Looks like a good starting 11, says Lee as well. 2013 says Colin Smith was the last time they beat us in Villa Park. Do you know what, actually? And you guys will have seen this on Twitter if you occupy that space. That today is the anniversary of the Kevin Friend blown whistle that stopped us from equalising against Crystal Palace. So that could be a bit of bulletin board material for Aston Villa this evening. You know, point at the bulletin board and go, fuck Kevin Friend, and what he did to Henry Lansbury that day. Yeah, look, it's mad, isn't it mad how sliding doors moments happen? Like, we feel like there's a bit of a sliding doors, or there's potential. I won't even say sliding doors, but there's a potential air of kind of feeling hard done by today, which is justified the way the transfer market has gone. And that day, you know, going back to whatever year was it? What was it? 2019, 6 years ago, I think. There was a very much a sense of feeling hard done by. And I remember doing that game. I remember being, was it 2020? I think it might have been 2020. I remember being doing a podcast after that game and being absolutely incredulous. I might actually go back and listen to that and see what that was like. Don't even know. Wouldn't have been on YouTube. I don't think it would have been on audio platforms. But anyway, that's just a bit of nostalgia for you as well. Now Gary Howland is saying we've too much pace. We've too much pace in this team. I know you're joking. Gary, but it is funny. We potentially have quite a lot of pace in that front, in that starting 11. Now, when you think about it, when you take Onana out and you put McGinn in there, like, McGinn is still pacey. He's still, you know, he's not got long pace, but he's very fast over short distances. You've got the pace from Maatsen, you've got Gassand, you've got Malin in there. You know, there is a different feel to the ability to be able to move and transition now. Whether it works out in the field, we will have to see. We will see that in an hour's time for absolutely sure. And Villa vibes, good man. I've just been shared a lovely picture of somebody's pint of Guinness in Villa Park, which is making me quite jealous. Absolutely making me quite jealous. Liam Blowfield says Bizzard is fucking shit. I don't know, lads. Do you agree? I don't know if he's brilliant, but I certainly don't know if he's shit. That is for sure. Where are we? James is saying the fans should sing Marco Bizzat's the world's number one. Again, the guys here, David Dwyer says Bizzat hasn't given any cause to worry. Chris Gomez says dreadful attacking options in the bench. It's what we have, unfortunately, and that's why we're looking to sign 2 attackers, I would wager, if not more, over the next 25 hours, I think. Where else are we? But then again, once I say that as well, that like outside of Yeremy Pino, the attacking options for Palace aren't fantastic. They've got Devaney in there all right as well. I like Devaney, really like him. Like him as a player. I do. I can't. Did I say I like him as a player? Yeah, I like him as a player. Where are we? That's no. I said I wasn't talking about Emi Martinez. So I'm going to take that one back down. Matthew Long loves the Browns cap. Thank you, Matthew. 20 years of sadness for me based on my team choices. And it was Randy Lerner that drove me towards really committing to the Cleveland Browns as well. So I started following him, I think it was late 2005. Then when Lerner took over in 2006, I went, I made the right choice. I was kind of flipping between the Raiders and the Browns. And I went, I'm following the Browns. So another thing Randy Lerner did that messed up my whole future. God damn you, Randy Lerner. Where are we? I'm just going to come to a couple of more comments, and then actually, guys, do you want to start putting in your score predictions in the comments as well, and I'll get to them as I'm going down through some of the comments here as well. I know there's a lot of me humming and hawing here, but I'm trying to read the comments. This is where not having a paddy really comes into its own. Oh yeah, actually, before I come to the scores, just to let you guys know that, look, if Aston Villa win, we're going to really try and lift the mood. We're going to give away an away shirt on the post-match podcast. Literally, all you've got to do is come back here. I don't know how I'm going to give it away yet. If Aston Villa win as well, we will have some live phone in as well. We will have some live phone in for you guys too. If Villa win, I will be supping on probably something that will be heavily laced with whiskey. If Aston Villa win too, to get my holiday started, in earnest. But yeah, that's something. Join us afterwards. If Villa win, we'll have a bit of a party atmosphere. Because look, we might as well celebrate the wins and not just stick in the cloud of transfers at all. And look, beating Palace is something we don't tend to do very often. They're a bogey team for us, so let's celebrate that as well. Where else we go? Where else are we? David Stiles says last time we played this late on Sunday, wasn't it 7-2 versus Liverpool? I think it was. Actually. I don't know, was it exactly 7:00 at night, but it was, because I had the Browns on one TV, I had Villa on the other TV, and I put a bet on Villa to beat Liverpool and a bet on the Browns to beat the Cowboys, and both of them came in, and I was flush with cash for about 4 weeks after that. So always bet responsibly. That wasn't a responsible bet in hindsight. I just got lucky. So always bet responsibly for sure. As Rob Henry says, give Neil a like, the shout out. Should be finishing his packing. I did my packing this morning. My young fella got up at 5:15, so I did most of my packing before 7 a.m. this morning. So I've got everything packed in anticipation of today, so I can have this time to do this. Thanks a million, Paul. Really appreciate it. He says, have a great holiday, Neil. As always, up the Villa reminds me of when York left. Exactly. That's kind of where I am at the moment. And funnily enough, my mum is inside, and you guys who listen to the podcast will have heard my Dwight York story about me going in and expecting my mother to be disconsolate like I was, and she didn't even know who Dwight York was at the time, and I probably hated her for about a week afterwards. It was all her fault. So there we go. Right. Where are we going to? Let's see. So Sub-Home Gamer is going for 3-1 Villa. Shootings Tweed going for 3-1 Villa. Kevin Newey is going for 3-1 Palace. George Dunleavy's going 2-1 Villa. 5-3 says Richard Parks. 2-1 says John Steele. 2-1 with a Gassan Brace says Sea Lion Eye. Stato's going for 4-1, feeling weirdly confident. I am too, but I wouldn't say weirdly, because I'm probably overly confident at the best of times anyway. Spencer Bakewell, great to see you, Spencer. 3-0 win. Mighty Villains going 4-1. Jerry is going for 2-1. Dermot Byrne is going for 1-1 draw. Max Hunter 1-0. Peter is going for a 2-0 win as well. 3-0 says Colin Smith. 8-0 either way says Marine Boy. I don't know, is that hedging your bets if you say either way for an 8-0 win at the end? I don't know. David Dwyer is going for 2-0. 5-1 Villa says Conrad. 2-2 says Lee. 3-1 to Palace says PJ. 2-2 says Dennis White. 2-0 says John Duran. 3-0 with Malin getting 2 says Chris. Junior says 2-0. Shane is going with 1-0. Kylie is going for 3-1. 2-1 says Paul S. Podville is going for 3-1. 2-0 says Jerry Sheehan. 3-0 says Robert Henry. Moose is going with 1-0. 3-1 says Paul Clark. Where are we? More scores. I'm just literally looking for numbers here. 3-0 says Yoggington. Zanas is going for 2-0 to Palace. 3-0 to Villa, says Sir Gart. 2-0 says Andy Hilly. 3-2 penalty at the end for Watkins, says Kieran Voice. That wouldn't be bad. 7-2 says David Stiles. I knew you were going to agree with that. Peter Evans going 3-0 with Watkins, Malin and Gassan. That would be fantastic. Declan Bagnall, good to see you, Declan. 2-1 Villa. 2-1 says Black Country Villa. And also great to see you too, Brendan Townsend. Great to see you too, Brendan. I watched the match with you last weekend. 2-0 with a Malin brace. Bob Tomlinson's going with 3-1. A KG 5 I didn't read ahead. A KG 5-3, says Richie Rice. I'm okay if defending is optional as long as we win 5-3 today. And Richie Ryan is going with 1-0 as well for that. I myself am going to go with an Aston Villa 2, Crystal Palace 1. I've gone 2-1 against Newcastle. I went 2-1 against Brentford, and I'm going with 2-1 again. So I think 2-1 might be my sit in the fence kind of hope for the best kind of scoreline. But I think 2-1 today for Aston Villa. And I'm going to say Evan Gassan is going to get in the score sheet. I don't know why. Just like the cut of his jib. I really like the cut of his jib. And what more I like about him is, and look, obviously I can only go on what I watched of him playing for completely out of the back of my head who we signed him from. The French team. I can only go on that, and if he can get those opportunities cutting in from those spaces on the side, and also if he is playing through the center like it mentions in the team sheet on the team sheet itself, well then what I would be expecting him is probably to play a lot closer to Watkins than we've seen Rodgers do as well, and that will be interesting in itself to see somebody with that frame who can who isn't known really for winning aerial stuff, but can win balls in the air and can hold them up, because they were playing him as a striker for an awful lot of time last year, but his flexibility can lead him to play out left, swap with Rodgers out there as well, or maybe even go up top of Watkins to try and pull Will Hughes or to pull Wharton maybe out of position in that area too. He'll have a tough task ahead of him if he is playing centrally, because whoever's playing there is going to need to do their bit of donkey work as well to try and stop Adam Wharton from dictating play in that deep lying areas, because he can ping a ball 40-50 yards and bend it around the whole defense on his own. He's a sparkling player, really, really great player. So, he's going to need minding back there as well, which sounds strange considering. But if you see some of the passes he played, I think it was in the last game they played some sparklers. They're just straight ball. Like, it wasn't as if there were straight balls in the technical sense, but the way the spin he put in the ball, he was able to kind of bend it around and play it right into players' paths. Special player, really good player. You can see why Real Madrid are interested in the Crystal Palace man as well. Right, I am going to give it the heave-ho. Guessing came from Nice. You're right. I knew it wasn't Rennes, and Rennes was just on the top of my mind. I could see the jersey. I just couldn't. I couldn't get it out of my mouth in time. I certainly couldn't. But right, I'm going to leave you guys to it. I am going to throw you guys directly into the stream for AVFC Stato. Stato is in the comments here as well. It'll be the same for every single game, or as many games that Stato is running, provided the systems work. We'll throw you directly into the waiting lobby for them. Please go and watch that, the watch along with Stato too. Keep him company, keep him sane while he's watching this, the Fear of the Unknown with regards to this, and he'll be on pretty soon after this finishes. So once this ends, you don't need to do anything. You should be thrown directly into his feed. And if that doesn't happen, let me know in the post match, because we want to get that fixed, because we want to entice as many people to go to Dale's channel as well, help him out too as well. Because look, that's one of the beautiful things. We might have a bit of a lot of players trying to leave the club, or some players wanting to leave the club, should I say. But that's one great thing about the Villa podcasting and Villa content creation fraternity is, like, if there's anyone that needs any help, everybody rows together. So there are very few pricks in our content creating, if any. I don't know of any, actually, to be honest, in our content creating sphere under Aston Villa. So give them all a dig out and watch all their stuff if you can. That would be absolutely fantastic. Before I go as well, guys, the link for anything to do with NordVPN is in the bio here as well. Forgot to say it, I'm useless at doing anything to do with advertising. It just doesn't come naturally to me. If you are interested in NordVPN, there's a link down there. You can give us a dig out. There'll be a short-term sponsor of the podcast as well. So I'll play something to do with NordVPN in the post-match podcast, all going well. But in the meantime, everyone, I must go and eat my Chinese. I must get ready and get sorted for this game because it's a big one. We'll have a big wait afterwards. And also, we've got a big day tomorrow. So stay safe, stay healthy. And all that's left to say is up the